Yeah, so very good afternoon, all of you. And I think we'll be starting another couple of minutes. I request you to stay tuned. And once again, a warm welcome to all of you for webinar 3 of the CecureDApp's Bharat Security Initiative. This initiative to improve the entire awareness, understanding, and help the interested folks upskill on the blockchain security as a subject, because I think today there's a huge scope for blockchain applications everywhere, right from the enterprises to government to startups. And but I believe there is a lot of gap also in terms of proper understanding, know-how about the process. And I think the CecureDApp's team, so great initiative from them, because they're trying to bridge this gap through this initiative. They're bringing some very senior folks from the industry with a lot of expertise and experience in front of you to sharing their thoughts, share their ideas, and help the professionals and amateurs to get a proper understanding, get their doubts clarified. So we'll be starting in another 2 minutes precisely. Hi, Karan. So can we start now?
Yes, sir, we can start.
Wonderful. Okay, so welcome again. Myself, Shivling Salakki. I am the host for today's webinar 3 of the SPSI, as it stands for CecureDApp's Bharat Security Initiative, a blockchain awareness webinar series, 6-week series from the team of CecureDApp. So I thank the entire team of CecureDApp for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Sitting here, I also feel very thankful, because whenever I go into multiple meetings interacting with government officers or corporates, I everywhere hear the scope of blockchain security applications, right? Whether it's securing the data, whether it's leveraging the supply chain operations to make it more efficient, or whether it's making secure transactions. The blockchain as a subject has a huge scope, right? But again, we're not have a clear understanding or in-depth understanding about how blockchain plays a crucial role, right? And how much doors it can open for all of us. So this webinar, I think, will clarify most of our doubts. And so for giving me this opportunity, I'm really thankful to the Abhishek and team. In fact, all of you, Karan, and playing that all the heads up initiatives. Now, going ahead, I think we have a very interesting person to introduce you to, somebody who's very tenured, somebody who's very keen on in-depth in this subject. And I think for this particular topic, there cannot be any other person who could be more justified for this role, right? And he is none other than Mr. Venkatesh L. I'll just give a round of introduction about Venkatesh, and then I think probably we can move ahead with the discussions and Q&A. Right. So Venkatesh L, as you can see on the screen, he is a very tenured cybersecurity and information security consultant. He has with 9+ years of experience in black box testing, penetration testing, critical infrastructure security, incident response, automotive, blockchain, you name it, anything. He has done it hands-on. And I think that's the best trait of him, because he's been an ethical hacker himself. He has, broken and cracked almost many systems himself ethically. I would needless to mention ethically. And he holds a top tier certification including OSCP, CISSP, CCSO, and CH like certifications. And he's also been recognized by the stalwarts of the industry like Google, Apple, Microsoft, Verizon, United Nations, with multiple honorable mentions in the and placements in the Security Hall of Fame. I think that's a rare feat, right? Not every day, often, or many people you can see with such huge credibility. And Venkatesh is one of those few security, enthusiasts who was invited by the NCIIPC's team for Parak audit. Okay, if you know of the Parak audit, it was NTRO initiative. NTRO stands for National Technical Research Organization, to protect, to fortify the key security, key sector security like military installations, whether it's energy, telecom, grid security of India, and all that. So please welcome me in joining the Mr. Venkatesh L, and who is a researcher, is a thought leader, and is a very senior person in the security industry. Welcome to the webinar series, Venkatesh.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you for having me. I'd like to thank SecureDApps, Center of Excellence, Telangana, CISEC Karnataka, and many other people are contributing to the event, and they want to do something in the field and also contribute to the community.
Absolutely. Thanks. It's our pleasure. In fact, it's our pleasure to have you here, because definitely today it's a need of the hour, blockchain security, but more so because its scope is ever increasing day by day than ever before. So I think we're in the right conjunction of time and tide to have this discussion with none other than the man himself, who has done it over and over again. So I would like to hear more about you from your thoughts. So before I start pouring into questions, I think I'll quickly introduce you to introduce yourself again for the benefit of all in your own thoughts.
So I'm an ethical hacker. So my journey into cybersecurity has been just hacking. So I don't, call myself a researcher or something, because my roots are into hacking, and people. So whenever someone says he's a hacker, people will think in a bad direction, thinking the hackers are bad and all that. But I represent myself to be a hacker because that is how a real security audit must be. So that is how a real security testing must happen. So if you are a, like what to say, if you say that I'll only test it in a, book mentality, maybe a white hat tester who is into the system and only tests the system through the books and whatever he knows, but the real attack happens. So why we are protecting the whole system? We are protecting the system from the hackers. So if you don't think in the hackers mentality, you will be not able to protect the whole infra organization. So that is the reason. I think I try to be in that mentality itself and do all things.
Correct. Absolutely. I think that's very bang on, because I think you coming into this speaker shoes today gives a lot of connection, or I would say matching thoughts with young enthusiast audience. Here it is, because they see what there is a huge scope, but when they see somebody of almost same age conditions, and somebody who has walked that path himself, I think there will be more relevant discussions and bring brimming ideas which everybody will carry forward from. So before I start with today's topic, that is tackling security challenges, modern threats in crypto exchanges. As you all aware, today everybody's getting into crypto exchanges, right? Everybody want to trade crypto exchanges just because of the scope and huge potential it has opened up, whether it's digital assets, whether it's buying tokens, exchanging tokens, buying NFTs, etc. So it has opened up so many doors, right? So I think that this discussion, this topic is very, very relevant and very apt. And before I start pouring questions to Venkatesh, I think the time is up for a poll. You will see a poll on the screen. I request you to quickly start answering, because there is a merchandise for all the participants who take part in this quiz. Plus, additionally, everybody completing this quiz will get a certification from SecureDApp's Level Up Skilling Academy. So please feel free, do not hesitate, don't have second thoughts. Please answer the question, whatever you feel apt. Okay, fine. So I think most of you have answered the question, and we have another 10 seconds to go. Perfect. So I think we're done with almost. Okay, I'll share the results then. Okay, we'll go ahead with the Q&A now. And so my first question to Venkatesh would be, so Venkatesh, today I think you start with a very basic question, that is, what are the most common type of cyber attacks faced by the crypto exchanges today?
Okay. So we can take this or discuss this in two particular perspectives. So why I take these two perspectives is what we'll be discussing is the customer side attacks and the attacks which are faced by exchanges. But why I also say customer side attacks, because this customer credentials, or like what are the, for example, the API keys. For example, some customer wants to use a trading bot, so generate API keys and forgets and commits into a GitHub or something with the API keys. So this can also affect the customer. And now attacker, for example, when I say crypto exchanges are very locked systems. For example, if a user wants to trade something, he has to get into the exchange with the email something. And secondly, to use the exchange, he has to do KYC and all the stuff. So it is locked system. So when an attacker finds such API keys or session tokens, or uses some kind of for example, he wants to target someone, he finds some leaked passwords. So through this customer side credentials, he'll get into the exchange, and this affects the customer also, and this affects the exchange also. So what happens is he uses this API credentials. Now we think he is a user, but he is not the user. He's an attacker sitting inside our system. So this is how we can take two perspectives, one customer side and one exchange side. So customer side is basically what I just mentioned. So customers leaked API keys. Maybe customer is using a password in same password in different, for example, Gmail, YouTube, etc. And then YouTube gets compromised, and now the same password is being used in the exchange. And now the attacker has access to that password, and he uses it to get access to your account. And another problem which arises is now your KYC account, which is your identity, is being misused by the attacker. And now we being an exchange, we think that it is a customer, but it is not a customer, it's an attacker. So that is the first perspective, customer side attacks. And secondly, when you come to organization, so when we think what are the common, I'm not briefing you on all the attacks. Well, if you say what are the common attacks, so an attacker, he has three perspectives when it comes to an organization, or three routes into an organization. So what we can say is the product, the people, and the infrastructure, or the cloud infrastructure. So he will either target the product, he will either target the people in the exchange, or the employees of the exchange, or he targets the cloud infra, or like physical infra of the exchange. So now the problem is, now in this age of AI, so we have to, before we were only dealing with script kiddies. Now we have to also deal with prompt kiddies. We're using this AI and all those things to, like even people who doesn't understand cybersecurity, just understand basics of cybersecurity. Now we can sit with an AI and like draft a plan, draft an attack like pattern, or like create an own methodology of hacking into some exchange. So when I say product, people, and infrastructure, now a person or a hacker who has very basic knowledge of hacking, he can sit with AI and draft a plan to attack a product, attack the people, attack the infrastructure also. So when you say a product, what we have seen very general, or like what to say, what happens every day is, in product we have seen lots of DDoS attacks. So what happens is, an attacker will send you a number of HTTP requests. It's a layer 7 DOS which we have seen, which sends a number of requests, HTTP requests to the application. And the pattern is they'll send a ransom note saying that if you don't pay this much amount in this 10 minutes, we will DOS your system, DOS your application. So this is very, very common. We see like almost every month there is some random guy coming and saying that if you don't pay us, we'll DOS your application. So and also in product side, we have seen people or the attackers targeting our vendors, third party vendors which we implement. For example, financial vendors like on off ramp, on ramp, like to purchase crypto or to sell crypto, or KYC vendors, etc., etc. Certain products, analytics platforms, or so certain plugins which we used to do data analytics, etc. So also in application side, we can see logic being abused in a particular product. For example, in a trading scenario where there is some logic bug, and this being abused, not to harm the exchange, but to create some kind of internal uh, misusing the particular logic which we have created for a trade or something like that, so spamming some requests continuously. So this we can see in the product side. So do you want me to continue, like we are going to ask if anyone has any?
Yes. No, I think, yeah, we'll open up questions for furthermore, but if anybody meanwhile has questions, you can type in the chat box.
Yeah.
We can always,
So, yeah. So we can have the questions in the chat, and later we can come back to.
Correct. So Venkatesh, on those first aspect, right? You said there are two parts, right? One on the exchange side and on the customer side. Now, when it comes to exchange, I'm sure they would, as an enterprise, would take as many process or products to framework to protect their exchange or platform. But on a simple customer side, because end of the day we're all users in one or the other aspect. So what are the three simple steps we can protect? What are the three suggestions to protect ourselves from such attacks as a customer?
So when I gave you the common types of attacks, right? So whatever I mentioned, so when you are creating an API key, so it is going to be misused by an attacker. So you have provision to whitelist your IP in an API key. So whenever you are creating an API key, not just in a crypto exchange, in any product you are going to use. For example, you are trying to do some analytics or anything, and you are you have a platform, you have a SaaS applications where you need an API key. So
Got
every product will have a provision for you to whitelist that particular API key to a certain IP address. Or you can also whitelist certain functionality of the API key. For example, in a
it.
crypto exchange, basically what it is trading permission, withdrawal permission, something like that. So, or just read permission. So you can, if you have whatever the use case of that particular API key, you can give it certain access of just read access or just trade
Understood. Yeah.
access or
Correct.
just
More of a
withdrawal
consent
access.
manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
like that, and there are certain passwords. Secondly, very basic, and so you have to understand that currently, like only threat what we are facing from the time of this AI genesis or something. So everything is being misused by like an AI engine sitting doing something. For example, I was recently going through a tool
Mhm.
which, for example, you give an email address and it will go fetch all the leaked passwords. And then it will start correlating and generating a passwords using your old passwords. For
Correct.
example, it will find 10 passwords of yours which you have used already. And now it finds a pattern in that password.
They'll pass it.
And
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
creates more password using that pattern. So
Correct.
in this AI thing, like you have to be very, very careful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very careful because too dangerous also. Right.
Also, no, we have to stop using words, common words, numbers,
Just as
stick on to
complex, unique.
randomly generating, scrambles. If you want to use a password, I mean, like nowadays, no one uses passwords. We don't even use passwords. We use passkeys.
Passes.
So if you care more about your security, being a person, so you can purchase this passkey, which is around 3K, 4K, 1000 in Amazon, and you can use that passkey instead of a password. So that is how
Correct.
you secure yourself from certain attacks like password stuffing. You know,
Got it.
yeah.
Thanks, Venkatesh,
So
for giving those tips from the customer's perspective. It's very apt and I think very helpful. So before, I mean, the second question which I was having is how do we,
no.
how do,
I
sorry?
have more things to
Yeah.
continue, but if you're okay, then I'll continue with the.
Yes, please,
We
you can
just
continue.
finished the product part, so the
Correct.
people part and
Yeah, please.
So we just discussed about the product part, which are common in how they try to manipulate the product, and secondly, if we talk about common attacks when you consider crypto exchange and they have employees, and now the attackers want to compromise the exchange. They have decided that we will compromise this exchange. So second steps would be to target the people or the employees of the exchange. So we have seen spear phishing attacks. Spear phishing attacks are nothing but common phishing attacks, but targeted phishing attacks. For example, I'm Venkatesh, and if someone sends a random email, I have less chance of reading that email. So just seeing the content and say this is not related to me or something like that. So spear phishing is a next step in the phishing. What they do is they'll add contents which like which represents you, like which people of. Like for example, they'll include "Hi Venkatesh" or "I'm a friend of this," and I also, for example, if they'll just check my LinkedIn profile and see what are the companies I'm related to, maybe what old company I've worked with. They'll say, "Hi, this is hi, Venkatesh, this is someone, and I'm still working at this company. I need some help." For example, that is spear phishing, and now they have your attention because they have all the details, and they're saying that they're from a company which you have worked for already, or you are representing or something. So we have seen such kinds of attacks, people getting targeted in social medias also, not just in emails, even in social media. They'll create a fake profile of a founder, of a employee, and go talk to them. And that has more success rate. So people blindly nowadays, no, in this era of internet, people blindly trust social media friends
Absolutely.
than real friends. So if you say, I mean, like for example, if there is a new employee joining to one of the company and he posts in LinkedIn saying that I joined 1 day ago, and now attacker, it is his time to go talk to all the people in that company because people don't even know this guy who has recently joined. So that is the reason
Absolutely.
we even
Correct.
hold many of our employees not to post if they are posting anything about related to our company. They would hold at least 1 month until they are well known in the team or with the people of the company. So this is very effective, and also we have seen insider recruitment from being done by APTs, Russian APTs, North Korean APTs, and also fake job interviews being done to target the people. It is not a job interview, but they are saying that we are represent this big company. We are going to give you, double the package. We want you to just install this for a meeting, or like to run this code for a test, or something like that, to compromise a particular employee. And also you can see challenges, coding challenges on LinkedIn, anywhere, any professional network, you can see coding challenges. And people tend to, for example, if I say, have a job interview for you, you can say, I'm in a good job already. I love my job or my company. So I don't want to, I don't want to take any interview. But coding challenges are different. It will challenge your ego. I will say like, okay, there is a challenge. Can you solve? I mean, like only 10 people in the world only solve this challenge. So when people, when ego is hurt, then people say, "I'll try this challenge," but it
Hmm.
is a malware.
Correct.
So we have seen such attacks, not just in industry, but out of industry, many companies are being compromised. Many companies like Sony and many companies, big companies which follow all the regulations are into many compliance standards and also do all the SOC, monitoring and everything are being compromised. They're compromised
Absolutely.
by this way. I mean, like people in a company are the weakest link. So even if you put any ideas, anything, so if a user has access to install something on a system, then that is done. The company is done.
Correct.
So and now again we come back to the same thing like AI. So we have seen deepfakes, voice, video calls, video deepfakes, synthetic ID creation. Like for example, there are many, jailbreaks. You call jailbreaks for AIs. So we have recently seen, right, in LinkedIn, many people are posting Aadhaar cards of Mark Zuckerberg, Aadhaar cards of, So now there are jailbreaks, and we don't know how many jailbreaks are not patched yet in certain AIs. So these jailbreaks can be used by criminals to generate very, very authentic documents, PAN
Correct.
cards, Aadhaar cards, anything. So the problem here is the gap is between the system where until what extent we can verify the document. For example,
Correct.
we run a global exchange, we run a Indian exchange. So in global exchange, so if some random country guy comes with documents created by ChatGPT, so we must think to what extent we can verify that particular document. So obviously we have to choose a vendor who is capable of verifying all the to the extent of what we require. But still, in this age of AI, it is very difficult for us to, be very, 100% about all this.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Yeah, and if we come towards infra side, we can see that many supply chain attacks have happened already. Cloud metadata API is being abused with SSRF or any kind of secondary uh, attacks or vulnerabilities. And there are many. This happens, because we recently saw news, right, where this Copilot, GitHub Copilot had leaked, like so many credentials, SSH keys, EAPA keys, or internal, things. So when some technology is new, people jump on the horse and start using it.
Correct.
So there is no what to say. There is no line where you can say, okay, from today we can trust this particular technology.
No, I
So it
think
has.
very relevant because when you were saying this, I remember of Ghibli art. Ghibli art was recently there was trend, right? I mean,
Yeah,
though the government and various agencies were giving alert that please be aware while uploading your personal pictures on for getting the Ghibli art, but there was a spree. There was an entire trend of people trying all their photos out for the Ghibli and sharing it on the social media.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
we don't know if any data is being managed as whatever they are promising. Like,
correct.
so. And secondly, we have seen attackers, using third-party libraries, compromising third-party libraries. There was a recent, some North Korean hackers were trying to compromise SSH through LiveZH. So like that, so they will choose a technology and see if this technology depends on some libraries, or is there any dependencies which is very old, and they try to compromise that libraries or that dependencies. So we have seen all this, like when you say common attacks, very common attacks.
Oh, very, very well covered on the type of attacks, Venkatesh. I think that gives a fair idea of what are the kind of new attacks coming up. How is this, entire domain opening up for various surface level attacks. Uh, Now, I think one question I was having is how does the MFA, correct? How does multi-factor authentication play? What role does it play in securing the crypto exchange of crypto account exchanges?
So
Any thoughts? Yeah.
yeah, so whenever we see any, for example, if there is any client side issues, so we think that MFA would solve this problem. For example, when I said, when I starting we were discussing, right? So there are issues where users' password is compromised, but now the customer trusts our website, and he comes and says, okay, my password was compromised. I didn't know that, but how did you let the attacker, like, do all that stuff in your exchange? So we couldn't, for example, if there is any scenario, we being an exchange, we have to be prepared. So what we do is, for example, if we see any activity, we will inform the user and we suggest that you use MFA. For example, if there is any thing which is happening, for example, any mass, for example, what happened recently was one of a crypto exchange got breached. Not It was not exchange, it was a charting. It chats crypto
Oh,
trades. So crypto.com got compromised. So crypto.com users were also using our exchange. So as soon as we got the news saying that crypto was compromised and some passwords are compromised, we sent out a newsletter saying that this has happened. We suggest people to use MFA to protect your accounts. So we see a possibility and we will inform people. So we can't mandate MFA. Some people are not, some people will say, I'm not ready, I'm not putting any money, so I'm just using it for the trades, charts, to see the order books, market, etc. So we can't force MFA, but we suggest people who are actively using, we enforce, suggest them to use MFA because it protects from credential stuffing, phishing attacks, and also like insider account reuse. Maybe you are an organization, you share your account inside an organization, and now your password is shared to a third party or like third guy, and using MFA will limit the particular reuse of the account or account sharing which is happening. So not just crypto exchanges, For example, assume to be very general, assume you are splitting your Netflix account with your friend. And that is very common in India.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So you will be paying half, he'll be paying half, but he will give to 3, 4 more people, and he'll be making money.
Absolutely.
So if you add MFA, then you can limit the particular like devices, or like you control the account. So if someone is trying to log in, then an MFA code is needed and you control the MFA code. So that is one. And you have to also understand, so what MFA doesn't protect. So you understand MFA, and people will say MFA will protect like your account and all that, but there are certain attacks which are made to bypass this particular MFA functionality. Nowadays, there are phishing kits. Now phishing kits are sold as a service in dark web. So what it does is it kind of creates an iframe inside an iframe, and now you are sitting inside an attacker's box where he controls all the incoming and outgoing requests. So now you think that it is proper Google and it is sandboxed, and you are going to enter your MFA code, and now it creates a session, and that session is now owned by the attacker. You have to understand MFA. What there are different types of MFA, not just the OTP which is sent to your mobile, OTP sent to your email address. There are authenticator apps, which that is also a kind of MFA. But to be very short, you can use hardware MFA keys, or you can also, it is called as a security key or a UB key. So that helps you from it doesn't, if the key doesn't think this is a legitimate site, it won't exchange the keys. For example, if you are being targeted from by using a phishing kit, and now you can just enter the code which is in your authenticator app or your OTP. But when you're using a security key, when you plug in the security key, it detects that it is not a exact. It has to exchange the keys, right? The browser has to exchange the keys. It will understand that this is not a legitimate site, and it won't exchange keys. And it cannot help with session token theft. For example, if you are using a browser, and in browser you have logged into any exchange or any website, Flipkart, Amazon, anything, but if you have to manage the session. So you will have an option to manage the session. You can select to remember in the browser to have the session token, active session token. For example, you log in 3 systems. You have to understand there are 3 sessions which are active currently. So these sessions you can see in your browser. So if you don't log out in different systems, some companies, they set it to 60 to 90 days, but some companies, I don't see they practice any such session token expiry time. So now if you, for example, you go to a cyber cafe and log into Flipkart in cyber cafe, and if you forget to log out, and you have to understand that session is active still, and some person who sits in that system now has access to your session tokens. So now this session token is stolen and used to log into your account. So even if you have the MFA enabled, one session is still active and session is being used to log into your account, MFA can't help.
Okay, but on the previous point, when you were answering that the lupus, the weakest link in the chain is always the people, right? So on that same point, a question is popping up, and that is, how can exchanges safeguard against insider threats and internal security breaches?
Okay. So insider threats, we have seen, like this is the hardest thing to detect. What you can say is, people can do a harm in company which they are working for maybe 2 to 3 reasons. One is that monetary gain, which they'll be working for someone, or they're pissed off about the company. So this is how the insider threat comes up. So So what happens is they can have this intent to harm the company or to gain something out of the data or anything which, for example, if it is exchange, then insider can just siphon off the money which is in the exchange. Or it is about the data, then he can download the data, give it to someone or something like that. So if you say how exchanges can safeguard against this particular inside threats, so there are certain things which we follow to, like to detect insider threats before something happens. So we have seen many incidents recently, because of the insider threat. There are many breaches which happened recently: Coinbase, FTX, Axie, which all happened in 2022. Like COVID and stuff, and people, started targeting. They thought instead of my job, like targeting companies and doing black hat stuff is more profitable than their real job. And we have seen many breaches happen in this timeline, 2019 to 2022. So when we see, basically what happens is we do case studies. So every hack which happened through the insider threat, so we do case studies of how it happened. So what was the
Interesting.
gap? So we do case studies for every hack which happened. And for example, every company has to release a public statement, right? Saying
Correct.
that what happened, what was the incident, how the attacker gained access to the system. So we do case studies, and then we see what controls must be in place to undermine this particular thing, or like even if it happens, it has to be of zero impact. So how can we make this zero impact? We can't say in security, we can't say this will never happen. So we have to be prepared for attacks. It will happen, but if it happens, how do we minimize the impact of that particular attack? So this is the mentality or mindset which we have to be in. Claiming nothing will happen, this attack is not possible, this particular thing is not, it is not the mindset. So the mindset should be the attack will happen, but how do I minimize the impact of that particular attack?
Absolutely. Staying in denial will always lead to huge
Yeah.
loss. The only way to build is to have zero trust approach.
Yes. So
Yes.
the thing is, we can go with multi-key approach. For example, if it is a crypto exchange, so multi-factor, you can use multi-key architecture, having more than two approvals for different functionalities. Or, like you can follow least privilege, time-based access for any extra approvals. For example, if some developer comes and say, I was working on this until now, so I need more advanced access. I want to work on a different thing. So when this happens, you can give them time-based. Time-based. You ask them how much time does it take for you to complete this task, and auto expire on this particular day, or maybe everything nowadays in a company goes on a timeline. For example, there are certain Jira cards, certain tasks, or what you can say scrums, which happens in company, saying that from this week to this week you complete this job or this task. So we can, for any extra permissions, you can limit that particular permissions for that scrum or that particular timeline for the developer to do the work, or like do whatever extra permissions they need. And also following least privilege is very, very good.
Yeah.
So whenever whoever needs any access, you ensure that he does his job perfectly, but with the least privileges he requires in a company. And
Absolutely.
we also have many tools which we have on our employees, or generally any company practicing good security practices will have all the tool sets on their employee computers, where tool sets like data loss prevention tools, where we monitor what data is being copied to the system, what where it is being uploaded, what is the data. So these data loss prevention tools will have logs of the system, what is happening, what data is it is, how does the data look, Does the data contain any pointers like PAN, etc., etc.? Or we'll have MDMs installed on the system, like mobile device management, which will see applications installed on the system. Any application is misbehaving or acting maliciously. So, and also we will have an XDR, which is like advanced detection and response, where we'll see all the threats, malware, whatever link he clicked on, web traffic. So all this tool set is required for you to gain insight on your employees. Or when you say insider threats, you want something which is sitting on your system where you have restricted your employees to do anything work from that laptop itself. And we can see all the conversations, any transactions, incoming, outgoing emails. You have to monitor your workspace account, what emails are coming in, what emails are going out. So how the employee is behaving. So what is for example, if an employee works from morning 9 a.m. to evening 6 o'clock, if there is some system which is active at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night, you have to see what activity it is doing, or like if some system was active at night, or times which people don't tend to work, you have to see what the particular device is doing, or like what was the last activity from that particular device.
Got it. So very well covered, Venkatesh. I think you touched upon all the aspects of either identity access management or least privilege principles. I think all these are very useful and inevitable tools to protect the system. Now, I think it is time for the second quiz, second poll. I request all of you to vote it, because don't forget there is level up SecureDApp's level up certification to be grabbed, and more importantly, you get a chance to have some merchandise also from the SecureDApp team. And there will be a winner announced at the end of this one. For the previous webinar, the winners will be announced at the end of this session. So feel free and answer the question. Okay. Most of you answered the question. I believe so. And I think we have another 10 seconds to go. Okay, we have a question. A question from Rahul, and I'll read it out for you, Venkatesh. How do you approach threat modeling differently when assessing a Web3 based exchange versus a traditional fintech platform? How do you approach threat modeling differently when assessing a Web3 based exchange versus a traditional fintech platform?
So when you think, what is the difference between a Web3 and a Web2 product? Your answer is there itself. So what is the difference between Web2 and Web3 product? So Web2 is basically which runs on different backend. So Web3 runs on a different backend. It's a blockchain, and it can be on any IT technology, full stack, something. So threat modeling is like in this product. So it depends on the product also. What is the purpose of the product? So threat modeling,
More discovering the
goals,
landscape.
the goals of the threat modeling depend on the product use or like utility, or like what is the utility of the product. So you approach by that itself. You choose, you select what is required. So what is this utility? So what all things are which is coming in and going out of the Web3 project or Web2 project. So what you have to sit down and make a note of what is considered critical in your product. So if you are a crypto exchange trading engine, your trading engine is a critical feature of your product. So you choose what features are important, what data is important, and generally that is how you arrive to a threat model. So you make a note of all the things and you create a threat model related to that particular, what you can say, playbook or something.
Right. Okay. I think with that, I think we have a next question ready. That is with what are the emerging threats from AI and deepfake technologies in the crypto security? Now that we are opening up a whole new era of generative AI and deepfake based videos, what do you think are the emerging threats in this sector?
So it is not just about the deepfake videos, deepfake voice, or like imagery, document creation, or that. But we have seen problems where employees are using generative AI to create code. I'm generally speaking. So we have seen many a number of companies, give the licenses, ChatGPT license,
Mhm.
to they think that to increase the productivity of the employee.
Correct, correct.
So yeah, generative AI.
But
But
they
the
are
problem
being
is,
misused.
yeah, the problem is it is not perfect yet, and also depends on what the AIs are being trained on. So what data is it being trained using Stack Overflow or anywhere an attacker come and generally post any solution for any problem. And what happens is now the same whatever trained models for any questions, if generally, for example, a same attacker answers same question in 10 different threads, and now ChatGPT considers that as a genuine answer. So now our employee who is searching for any employee or any company employee who is searching for that particular solution gets a malicious answer, which is being trained, force trained, and like by the modules also, and it don't consider like reasoning is a very latest concept. After all these attacks, AI companies thought that okay, just like blurring out answers is not enough. Now every AI needs to reason itself if this answer is perfect, or like if this answer has a malicious intent or this question has a malicious intent. But before reasoning, there were like many companies have been attacked through fake libraries, what you call AI hallucinations, where AI hallucinates a library name, and this code is being used in a company, and this library is now taken over by an attacker. So we have seen many such cases. Not just it doesn't just AI doesn't just has a vast surface of attack area. It can be employees using AI tools to generate some internal documents. It's not just the developers who are developing the code using this, which is being targeted by AI, but also non-technical staff like HR people are using it to generate documents. And they ask some question like, "How do I edit some video?" And it will suggest some random link or like some random like application or something. And now attackers know what application is. We have seen, right, in Google, fake Google ads. And I don't even trust when I search some application on Google nowadays. I find Wikipedia page, I go to Wikipedia
Much.
page, yeah. I then use the link which is in the Wikipedia page to go to that product, even if it is
Correct,
an open
correct.
source product. Nowadays we can't trust even Google searches or like anything which is being crawled online.
Absolutely. I think with this new deepfake and Gen AI, the, the number of attacks, the number of sensible points have manifold increased. Somebody can very well imitate. I recently saw an article where there was a fake video call from a CF of the company asking for a wire transfer, and
Yeah. So it
and
was a Hong Kong-based bank, and they transferred some 25 million. Yeah.
and it was exactly the tone, the imitation,
Yeah.
the body language, everything was 100% copied and imitated of the CFO.
See, one thing is there is certain countermeasures you can take for this. If you want to know, I can explain the
Yes,
countermeasures.
please feel free. I think you can quickly throw some light on that also.
So the countermeasures are very simple. So you just don't upload HD images of yourself. So more context you give to the AI, more
Correct.
believable the particular AI will be to generate anything. For example, when you say when we gave the scenario that some Hong Kong-based CFO was tricked, created deepfake videos, you can assume that these CEOs and CFOs do interviews and 4K, 5K HD videos are published on YouTube. So more context you give to AI, more. Even sometime back, I was using only, like AI generated images of myself. I was not even, like using real pictures, which I take. Generally, people do upload everything, where which events they go, which people they meet, everything they were publishing on LinkedIn. But I feel that is very, after AI and all things, I don't upload HD pics. So blurred or maybe blacked out images, increase the grayscale of your image, and don't put very images which are very close, like whatever I'm speaking. So I know this video will go on YouTube after, but
They'll
I'm
post,
yeah.
So don't worry. I think you have protected yourself well. And now so on
So
that
just
context, I think
be informed, and you understand how AI generates something.
got it. No, these are very
So
simple but very sensible points. Like you said, no detailing. The more we expose about ourselves, the more we post, the more we put out our content. We are ourselves making vulnerable and giving too much information to the attackers. I think that's where we
yeah.
have to play the smart guy's role. Well, I think now something more towards the crypto thing. The next question is on what is the difference between a cold wallet and a hot wallet, and how effective are cold wallets, comparatively in preventing large scale thefts.
So what you can say is cold wallets are, you can say those are hardware kind of thing, hardware wallets, which you basically use it to store your crypto. So it is like a pen drive or something. Sometimes it can be larger also. So cold wallets are designed to, for example, a crypto exchange has 100K some or 100 crypto or 100 Bitcoin. So what happens is now keeping all this connected to the internet or inside the trading engine or inside the wallet is not a secure thing to do, because you are responsible for the money which a user puts into your exchange. So what you do is, for example, some customer come and stake their amount. For example, they'll say 50 Bitcoin, I'll stake it in your exchange for next 1 year. So you don't need that particular amount in your hot wallet, which, for example, whatever amount which is in hot wallet, we consider that it is as fast moving. People come, withdraw, deposit, and so those faster operations to happen, things are stored in hot wallet. So cold wallet is something like whatever people are staking in your exchange, which you feel that with the analytics, you see how much is being traded every month or something like that. To safeguard your amount, you take some certain amount of crypto and store it offline, or put it in that hardware, and you remove it from the network. So if you say that our exchange is using hot wallet and cold wallet, and we are storing crypto in cold wallet, and you leave the cold wallet connected to your server, that is not the way to use a cold wallet. So you transfer it, you remove it from the network, remove it from your servers. So we have seen certain cases where people say they use cold wallet, but the cold wallet is left connected to the server or the network itself. That is not the way to use a cold wallet.
So hot wallet is something which is more accessible, which is more on real time, whereas uh, uh, a cold wallet is something which can be obsolete, or I would say made dormant at when not in use. Correct?
Yeah.
That's how we can submit it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it is not just the crypto exchanges which has to use a cold wallet or hot wallet. So even you people can use a cold wallet. For around $100, you can purchase a cold wallet like Ledger, etc., and you
Mhm.
can use that particular cold wallet and store your crypto. For example, Wazirex, which got hacked recently.
Yeah.
So many people were storing their life, like the money which they have earned their whole life into that particular. They think that if it is in exchange, it is safe. So so many people could have just used a cold wallet and stored their crypto life earnings in that cold wallet instead of trusting a crypto and a crypto exchange, storing their money or crypto in the crypto exchange directly. Instead of doing that, they could have hold on to their money in the crypto. There is a saying: if it is not with you, it is not yours.
Mhm. Correct.
So until and unless it is with you in form of the cold wallet or in form of the seed phrases or like paper trail or whatever. So until and unless you trust a third party or an exchange or a service or a wallet, it is not your money. So until and unless you keep it with you. And people have this wrong idea saying that installing a wallet on your phone and keeping crypto inside the wallet is say having the money with you. That is totally not true. So again, that wallet is sitting on a blockchain, and that blockchain is owned by someone else. And if FBI decides that this is not a legit service, they can take down the blockchain and your money is gone with the wallet.
Got it. Got it. Absolutely. Because on the last note, I think since you're speaking on more on regulations and risk and compliance, in fact, I was prompted to ask this question much earlier, but now I think the time is very ripe and it's interesting. The conversation is getting interesting. What are the regulatory frameworks which are into effect or which are being enforced by the regulatory agencies for the crypto exchange in India for their security?
So in
Especially
India,
Indian context, yeah.
not global.
No, globally also you can, yeah. I mean, globally you can say, but more so in Indian
Okay.
context.
Okay. So we
Is there
can say
what is the entity which takes care of the compliance in India and more so on
okay.
that?
Okay. So we are also a G20 partner. So there is a FSP standard which was established in G20. So Financial Stability Board, where any exchanges or any country which comes under G20. So this framework will also be, well, like they basically can come and if you want to do business with different global, this is also one of the standard FSB. And if you go do business with European Union, there is MICA, which is Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation,
Okay.
and these frameworks which are globally global, you can say, frameworks for market regulation, crypto exchange regulation. So in India it is a different story. In a few years back, India had banned cryptocurrencies, uh, and it said cryptocurrencies are not legal tender. So you can't trade. If you have cryptocurrency, then you have to inform it to government, or else we'll jail. There is a jail sentence for that. So the regulatory things change every year, and India has come to a standard or thinking saying that cryptocurrencies are not bad. Hence, crypto exchanges who are dealing with cryptocurrencies are not bad. So after the digital currency bill, by India, so the also after taxation of crypto income, or like taxation, which now they are taxing every crypto fund which is coming into your account at flat rate, flat 30%. So after all this, now RBI also comes with a regulation, because exchanges which are doing business in India has to go through the banking system. So people will come deposit money to our Indian accounts, and now our Indian accounts are if they do withdrawals, then money must go from our account to their accounts. So we also come under RBI guidelines to how to manage a crypto exchange. There are certain frameworks, and also we come under PAML, which is anti-money laundering regulation. So, and also mainly we come under FIU, which is recently which was very recent after they came out with digital currency. Will FIU is the governing body for all the cryptocurrency, and compliance is very strict in
The
FIU.
financial intelligence unit,
Yeah.
the one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
please
they
continue. Yeah.
so they establish certain things like they ensure robust AML things are being handled by the company. They do audits to ensure all the compliance things are met. Like KYC compliance data, where the data is sitting, and how the data is being managed. So FIU is like a framework for crypto exchanges, security frameworks, and they want to also establish this oversight on the responsibilities of the regulatory bodies and the exchanges also. So enhance the investor protection, and promote the transparency and accountability of the crypto exchange and the
Oh.
trading system.
Well, this is very helpful point, because we always feel lack of enough supporting guidelines, framework, or regulatory compliances for this industry. But now that you have thrown light on that, it feels like the lot of work is being done, whether it's putting of FIU, whether it's putting of SEBI or RBI's guidelines. I think we are going in the right direction. Now one question is, what are the best practice should exchanges follow? Right, it's more so on the platforms, I would say. What are the best practice should exchange follow to secure smart contract interactions, especially with the rise of cross-chain bridges? Now, Venkatesh, since you are leading the security practice at Delta Exchange, one of the global firm which has an Indian entity, which has Indian presence also. Can you answer in that aspect?
So about
what are the best practices? Yeah, what are the best practices exchanges should follow to secure the smart contract interactions?
Okay.
The best practice, yeah, BPM.
Okay. So we are not purely Web3 exchange. So we don't do smart contract transactions, or like we have a cryptocurrency for our exchange, but the utility is just the fees which we take from the customer. So people can hold our currency and pay fees for their transaction fees for their trades. But when you say this, like cross-chain bridges or cross-chain smart contracts, we deal with cross-chain interactions. So it is very basic. I'll give you a very basic understanding of how smart contract should be. For example, when we were developing smart contracts for our exchange, so we followed certain guidelines how to secure that particular smart contract, or how to secure our cryptocurrency. So it is very basic that whatever you develop, you need to audit the code first. So in smart contract, because when smart contracts are nothing but money, right? So your smart contract to work, or your utility to work, there has to be, it can be proof of work, it can be proof of so that proof of work, so it can be so whatever it is, so it has to happen, the transaction must happen, there must be a underlying coin, or the mining proof of stake, or anything with the money is being paid to the miners, or like people who are validating the transactions in the particular, blockchain or like smart contract, whatever, must run on a blockchain. Smart contract
Okay.
must run on a blockchain.
Sure.
So what happens is, if you don't audit the code which you are deploying it onto the blockchain, so it is you have to, so if it is your smart contract, you have to provide liquidity for that particular smart contract. So what happens is, you're launching some smart contract or a product based on blockchain or smart contract. Then you have to provide the liquidity. For example, you have to put some 10,000 USDT for the interaction to happen. If you are on an Ethereum chain, then you have to put in some liquidity. For example, maybe 3-4 Ethereum for the smart contract to work, the transactions to work, or to generate the particular coins or the coins which your smart contract will use for to write the transaction into the blockchains. So every interaction is a transaction in the smart contract. So whatever actions your smart contract does, it is a transaction. So it will be written to a ledger. So
Understood.
so when you don't audit your code, then what happens is, now when you deploy it, you can't retract it. You have to fork it. So you can't retract it, but an attacker finds some issue in that particular code, then your good has gone. Like all your liquidity is gone, all your money is gone. So now, if we think about cross-chain bridges, the issue now is, until now, an attacker would have access to your ecosystem, which is running on Ethereum. He could liquidate your whole stash into Ethereum and move it to somewhere else, to some other chain, one by one. So it is some manual process which will take an attacker to time from moving from one chain to another. But because of smart, like currently cross-chain bridges, an attacker can send that particular money into different chains instantly because of the bridges. So this is the issue when you say, I mean, like, so when you talk about smart contract and the underlying asset can be Ethereum, can be any other Solana, anything. So already using this, attacker can move the currency to other jurisdictions, other chains. So, for example, if you say my crypto is stolen, so for the judicial system to investigate, so by the time the attacker will move that to some other jurisdiction or move to some other chain. So it is already difficult for us to track. And now, because of the cross-chain bridges, he'll be able to move cryptocurrency from one chain to another chain very easily. So whenever you write any smart contract, you have to ensure that you audit the code. Once there is a go, or like when there are many, even if you can't afford a company, there are many tools, like Open Zeppelin, which you use, which it is a open source scanner for smart contracts. If you have to use Open Zeppelin library, you can use Mythics also. Mythics and Consensus also gives free scans for a smart contract. So you can utilize certain open source tools also. And also, if you have money, if you are a big company, you can go. There are many smart contract firms that audit the smart contract. So, secondly, you can keep the smart contract very simple. Don't add, many functionalities which is unnecessary. This increase the attack surface of that particular smart contract. If you want to have a utility, you want to do this, you just do that. Don't add many features thinking that maybe in future we can add this, that, add, certain features, which is not necessary currently, but you have to keep the smart contract very simple. So also you can lock the critical functionalities of the particular smart contracts, withdrawals or upgrades, and you can lock with multi-signature. So any transaction which involves any critical functionality must be only approved through multi-signature. So that, and also you can, if you are very careful about your smart contract, you can monitor it, regularly with on-chain. There are many on-chain monitoring tools, and also you can have responsible disclosures, or like you can call it bug bounties. where people come and audit your product. This is very general, not just Web3. Any technology, OT, any technology, not just blockchain. You can have bug bounty programs. People will be happy to just audit and you come up with any security findings. So, see why this is very important, because we Delta Action, we have bug bounty programs also. But we can, people can ask why you have bug bounty program. So we get our things audited, we audit ourselves and many other things, but still we have bug bounty program. So many companies, Apple has bug bounty program. So they have Apple, Microsoft, they have, like 2000 employees who are working on security things, but still they have bug bounty programs. You can ask why this, why this phenomenon of bug bounty, why? So why, according to my understanding, so bug bounty, everyone's experience is different. My approach is different. So my learnings is different. If I love Python, then I'll be able to pen test Python applications really good. So everyone's interests are different, everyone's approaches are different. So me being a professional, if I'm able to audit something and if I miss something, the person, for example, if I'm using front-end React, I'm testing React. So the person who has dug deep into React in terms of security would be able to find more things than me, looking it in a general way and pen testing only general things. What you can say, there are many basic tests you can say, but you'll be not able to understand it deep enough for you to audit deeper features of that particular product or that technology.
I think we have a question to go, but we have some questions from Suhas and Rahul. Okay, so we'll take it to the last just to avoid the break of flow. We'll take these questions to the last. So the next question to you, Venkatesh, is how important is regular third-party security auditing for long-term trust and safety for a crypto exchange?
So, as I mentioned, so everyone's experience is different. So,
correct.
So even if you go for a third-party audits, so they can have a team of people who are trained to do certain things. For example, team is you can't be perfect in everything. So third-party companies will hire people who are good in what stuff. For example, reconnaissance or vulnerability findings. So they will use different set of tools. Also, they will also have people who are good in attack surface, finding attack surface, doing recon. People, they have different roles in a company. So in an audit company, third-party audit company who is coming in and auditing, so they will split the work to the people who are good at what they are good at. So targeting, so by doing a third-party audit, so we'll see, we'll find issues which are not being, before hackers do, we'll find many security issues, misconfigurations. So so third-party audits are really good if you don't have a security team already, if you don't have any security staff, or like you are not focusing on security itself. It gives you like 100%. Like it is really good if you don't have anyone looking at your security. You can happily go for a third party audit and you can fix all issues if you don't want to manage any security staff internally. And also even companies who has security staff for doing regular audits also go for third party audits. Because certain mandates, for example, if I say FIU or Data Protection DPDP Act, which mandates third-party audits, because certain things we could have missed already, and this third-party audits ensures government or the regulatory body that okay, so this is secure. So they'll have certain checklist given from the regulatory bodies. So they'll also audit in terms of security, in terms of compromising the product, in terms of checklist, which is given by the regulatory body also. So So it also builds institutional public trust. Also, it also builds investor trust, where publishing that particular report saying that there were no issues found. Some big third party company came and came in and audited us. So Vesa, it also builds trust, and also, as I mentioned already, regulatory compliance also enforces us to get audited by the third party vendors. And also, it is we also have to understand it is not a replacement. This third party audits are not replacements. It is a just what you can say, it is a uh, kind
Add-ons.
of
Yeah.
kind of add on, but it is not a replacement for any security controls in a company.
Controls. Yes.
Yeah. So it doesn't replace whatever things which you are doing internally. For example, if you say I got audited externally, we have no issues, and stop doing anything in like any security practices in your company. That is not how it works. So it is just kind of a just to ensure that everything's in security is has taken care of in a company, or like good security practices are being followed by the company.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you have covered it and summed very, very precisely and concisely, Venkatesh. I think you have given a very, very deep and exorbitant understanding of entire crypto exchange platform. What are they go through? What security challenges do they have? What they need to be aware of, and what is a customer perspective we need to take measures to protect ourselves. I think as we reach to the last, I have a few questions from Suhas and Rahul, and I think before that, I just want to uh, congratulate the winner of the last webinar series, and I'll bring up the poster to congratulate them. Please help me congratulate Ankur Ranjan Chanda and Jatin Chaube. These two people were the winners from the last webinar, week 2 of SecureDApp's Bharat Security Initiative. So please help me in congratulating them, and I think the team will get in touch with you both for the rest of the process. Okay. And this week's winners will be announced in the next week's webinar. So whoever has answered, stay tuned. Please join the loop again and ensure that you get your due. Okay, to Vignesh, we have one question from Rahul. What would you suggest as a practical and realistic roadmap for someone aiming to become an ethical hacker in the current landscape?
Okay, so what I suggest to everyone is to take the hands-on approach, because you can do all the courses and everything which just gives you a practical example, like the textbook examples of attacks. But what happens is, in my experience, have seen that. See, for example, I'm being me, having 9 years of experience in cybersecurity, me going and reading in exploit. So, for example, there is a product, say some security issue in the product. So, myself having this much experience, I'll be not able to reproduce the exploit. So, I'm 100% hands-on guy. I'll be not able to reproduce a security issue, which I've read about, and also, for example, WordPress. I have intensively worked on WordPress and all the plugins, security of WordPress. But if I go read a exploit in a WordPress, I myself will be not able to come and reproduce the exploit.
Got it.
So what happens is, if you don't have hands-on experience itself, then it will be like you reading you some language you don't know, or like you may do courses and all, and you even if you do all the courses, you'll be not able to understand the inner workings of any product or any technology. So to go hands-on anything to understand. So I suggest Triagni is the best platform currently, because any new security issue, currently my burden is being solved by TryHackMe, because any new exploit, they'll give you a room with a working exploit, and you have the chance to explore the exploit, read about the exploit, and they guide you through the exploit, and also make you run the exploit and see what is the output of that product. So I feel TryHackMe is really good for you to start with hands-on. So it gives you around 400 free rooms where you can start exploring hands-on cybersecurity.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think that's a very valid point. And Venkatesh, would you like to take a minute? I think we are running out of time now. Just in a minute, if you want to answer Suha's question, how can agentic AI and generative AI can be effectively leveraged to enhance cybersecurity and threat detection capabilities? I think you already answered in this due course, but still, for the benefit of audience, maybe in a minute.
So what? How I don't know how to answer your question, because AI is currently being still understood. Like so many research papers which have been written about things, and we don't know about the legality of certain data being used in it. And if you think about threat detection and threat detection capabilities, when you say, as I mentioned already, the threat detection capabilities underlines what you want from your product, or like what you're trying to do. If you go general threat detection, for example, for a user or for a what to say independent like person like me, so you have to chart out what all things that generative AI can give you. For example, recently I was having a conversation with some students, and they were asking, how do I, like they wanted to build a product, but that product wanted certain detection capabilities. For example, they wanted to build a SaaS product, which what it does is pulls the data log or analytics data, the user log data from different SaaS applications, and aggregate into one and do the threat detection in it. But the problem is they don't have the data. So generative AI can help, right? So it can generate data, it can simulate attack. So generative AI can help in terms of this. Generative AI can generate all these payloads. Agentic AI can detect, and you can use both in simultaneously, and create certain threat detection tools. But you have to understand what is your target, or like what your product, what is what your product considers as a threat. So what is your focus, or like targeted audience for your threat detection product, or threat detection feature, or anything which you are building inside an organization, or it is a individual project for a common people, like that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Venkatesh. I think just for reference for all the audience participants, please fill out the feedback form, which is essential for you to get the SecureDApp's Level Up certificate for this webinar series. Do not forget to fill up the form. That is very much a mandatory here. And I think as we reach to the end of this wonderful webinar session, I want to thank Venkatesh. And before that, I was just wanted to highlight the need of the hour, because when we were discussing with Abhishek and team, with the CecureDApp's team, how they formulated this webinar series, how they came up with this idea of 6-week webinar to help various folks on the blockchain security. There are more than $20 billion lost. I was reading a report, 20 billion USD lost on smart contract hacks alone. Okay, it's a very staggering number, right? And I think CecureDApp as a team is building wonderful product upon it. As of I remember, they have a product called Secure Watch, which is a smart contract audit tool. And I think you also can reach out to the team for trying a hands upon, get a trial version of it, get a hands upon, and know the feel how about the product, right? I think once again, it was a great talking to Mr. Venkatesh. Okay, you have been a great resource person, totally justified, because you with your broad experience, you try to touch upon all the pockets of blockchain as a security as a subject, right? Right from the protocols, right from the various tools to know about, right from the various attack surfaces, various vulnerabilities, and also how third-party audits, the regulations, the compliance requirement, everything. You have comprehensively covered the entire topic very well, did 100% justice to the topic. I take this moment to thank you from all the participants, from all the organizer side, from the team of CecureDApp, all the partners. Once again, thanks to all the partners, CCOE, GINSERV, CISEC, everybody. And finally, a huge thanks to the participants for being a wonderful, very patient audience. You've been very, very cooperative. I think very aptly and right questions put up. So I think that's the combination. That's the combination required, right, to make the webinar wonderful. Finally, from my personal perspective, I would like to thank CecureDApp for touching the hard stone of blockchain security topic and doing it this wonderful noble cause through this initiative. May you see a lot of success in this webinar series. You host second season, third season of this webinar series. Thank you all. I think there'll also be the recorded session live very soon, hosted on YouTube and other platforms. Yeah. Any concluding remarks from you, Venkatesh?
Thanks for having me. That's it.
Sorry, I could not.
Thank you, everyone. I will the audience and also the SecureDApp and other partners of SecureDApp. Thank you for hosting this, where I was able to give something to the community and also, to participate and also take questions mainly. No one is perfect. We learn more by questions itself. So whatever questions I have, I'll go, find more things about it and see how I can, uh, put all those learnings to my, job of securing, certain companies in India, not just my own company.
Absolutely. As of I know, Venkatesh has already been, working very extensively, selflessly to cover various apps. I mean, every week, at least once he calls me and tells me there is a public website or a public domain which has so many vulnerabilities. Can you please disclose it to the concerned authorities and so that they can patch up? Out of no intent, just to ensure public safety, he has already, always voluntarily disclosing so many vulnerabilities. So we require more people like him for Bharat to be a very secured and powerhouse of security as we grow for $1 trillion economy. Okay, well, with that, I think time is up. Thank you all again for your wonderful time and patience. Look forward for the continuing support from all of you in the coming days. Thank you.